Hello, everyone. I am Andrea Stahlamn, News Director at WLKY, the Hearst Television CBS affiliate in my hometown of Louisville, Kentucky. Let me begin by saying thank you to all the journalists on the front lines and behind the scenes, the news and station managers, the corporate and network news executives. Thank you for your hard work, for supporting your teams, for navigating what has been a difficult and exhausting year so far. For many, if not all of us, 2020 has likely been the most challenging years of our careers. 195 days ago in early March, we attended the RTDNA First Amendment Awards in Washington, D.C. I sat in a room with some of the best leaders and legends of our industry, and I listened as they all spoke passionately about the critical value of journalism, protecting journalists, and our common unwavering support of the First Amendment. It was the last time that I can remember being in a crowd. In the lobby of the hotel that night, I ran into some Hearst colleagues who I would normally hug hello, but instead they elbow bumped me. I returned home to the canceling of March Madness, the postponing of the Kentucky Derby, and just 8 days after leaving DC, I was sitting in my office on a Saturday trying to figure out, like hundreds of other news managers across the country, how to run a news operation with almost no one in the building. In 2020, our industry has changed, or rather, we have changed our industry. We have innovated and improvised. Hopefully, we've eliminated once and for all that thinking in newsrooms where we'll do it that way because we've just always done it that way. But let's be honest, it has not been easy, and not much of it has been fun. Working from home does not hold the same value in our industry that it does in others. Teamwork and communication in a business that thrives on brainstorming and collaboration is just not the same in a world that now relies on video chats and working remotely. But journalists have done what they always do, adapt. In 2020, you continued telling important stories, even as your work environments were disassembled, when your health was also at risk, when your children's schools and daycares closed, even as your families were impacted and for many devastated. You showed up and worked tirelessly to serve your communities. When everything around us changes, journalists do what we do. We simply adjust. And in the midst of this pandemic, instances of police brutality sparked protest in every state, unleashing in America a much-needed conversation about ending racism. Journalists must be confident in the knowledge that racism is not a side of any story. The important work of exposing and correcting systemic racism is underway right now in communities. Journalists have the responsibility to seek out all voices and perspectives. We should be armed with a better understanding of bias that propels us to ask the right questions and renews and enables our long-standing commitment to holding the powerful accountable. It is critical that newsrooms and news coverage across our country truly reflect our communities. We must be better. It does no good to be diverse if we are not inclusive. We must encourage conversations that lead to better coverage decisions. Black journalists must know that their views are valued so that they will share the input that they may have kept silent in the past. Moving forward with a real understanding of the importance of inclusivity and empathy is the only way to ensure accurate reporting when it comes to issues of race. At RTDNA, we believe all journalists should be working toward these goals. We will continue to provide insightful and relevant programs with an increased focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Our other focus this coming year will be on taking care of and protecting journalists. If 2020 has taught us anything, it is that we should take care of each other and ourselves. We have learned the importance of prioritizing our health and the health of our employees, both mental and physical. In addition to the impacts of the pandemic, journalists have continued to come under attack. You have been harassed, threatened, and assaulted. But your eyes should not be closed in fear or burning from tear gas or shocked by the hatred that comes solely from doing your job. There are those who prefer to lump us into a huge category that no one should trust. This leads to a reckless narrative that often puts journalists in danger. It becomes easy to forget the role that journalists have served throughout history, often reducing our entire profession to a target of hate and personal bias. But make no mistake, our accurate, visual, educational, contextual coverage of what is happening right now is critical. It is the work of journalism that uncovers corruption, exposes injustice, drives solutions, and supports progress in our communities. Questioning authorities, politicians, and policies remains our responsibility, and it must be protected. RTDNA will continue to speak out and defend the First Amendment when it comes under attack, as well as providing training and resources on how journalists can stay healthy and stay safe. I believe we will look back at 2020 as a pivotal time in the history of journalism. Yes, it has been hard, and yes, we are all tired. But take a moment and think ahead to the stories that you will tell that will change your community, the information you will deliver that will save someone's life, or the truth you will uncover that will right a serious wrong. The news does not stop. When protests and pandemics overlap, journalists just work harder. We regroup, reassess, and return to work. I encourage you in the coming year to recommit to your passion, to the reason why you became a journalist. As tough as this year has been, isn't this why we all wanted to be journalists in the first place? The lessons of 2020 will be lasting if we can learn from them. I am excited and honored to represent an organization that serves as a resource and a voice for all journalists. And like all of you, I actually look forward to 2021. So thank you.